a senior applied scientist at Zalando, focused on computer vision and machine learning-driven solutions to tackle a very complex solutions, delivering size and fit advice to millions of customers in parallel. And she is in the organization committee at Zalando Data Scientist community and at Zalando Women in Tech group. Outside of Zalando, she is an organizer for computer vision workshops, and she's aiming always to raise the visibility of female researchers as sharing the experiences between students and professionals. In her free time, she is enjoying walking in nature and video gaming and cooking. Please give a warm welcome to Nour. Hi, Nour. I'm giving over to Nour now.
Thank you, Ruba, for the nice introduction, and also thanks, Women Techmakers, for the invite. I hope you can hear me well. All right, I'm gonna share my screen. I have small slides, not very rich, so don't expect too much, but I felt safer having something by my side while presenting. Okay, then share this. Okay, so my name is Nour. I'm happy to be here with you today. I'm going to walk you through a timeline of everything I experienced during my journey in tech. My path has been a crazy, squiggly line, I have to say. I've been in between things, but I want to share everything that I tried to learn, and what I learned, the difference between enjoying things and really being good at something. I would start from this. So I'm 31 years old now. I was born and raised in Damascus, Syria. I started learning coding when I was in high school, so 15 years ago. I had few classes on basic programming languages like HTML and JavaScript. Before that, my relationship to computers was very limited and only focused on video gaming. I remember struggling to fix the graphics card to be able to play The Sims, for example. When I started to learn coding as a teenager, I was very curious about the first generation of social networks, if you remember MySpace, for example. And I was very curious how these websites were built. So I started to learn more and building small stuff like a small personal archive of my photos and music. The first touch points were web pages. After finishing high school in 2007, I went to bachelor. So I entered the Information Technology Engineering School in Damascus University. And this might come as a surprise to many, but being a woman in information technology in Syria is not one of the main challenges among others that you can face. But this particular thing was not a problem. We were a balanced class. It was a problem existing in other branches of engineering, of course, like mechanical engineering and electrical engineering, but not in computing. And this program, like the bachelor program that I did, was 3 years focused on general computer science. This included programming languages, computer architecture, basic math related to computer science. And then it was followed by 2 years that you need to pick a specialization. And there was 3 separate tracks, artificial intelligence, software engineering, and networking systems. I picked software engineering, which you will see that changed later. Because I was mainly interested in web development and software engineering, I thought this would be the fit. I was actually good at it. I was in the top 10 of my class 4 times during this program, and I got scholarships, and I didn't pay the tuition fees, for example. But during the bachelor, I started to do some internships. So I did 2 of them in leading tech companies in Syria. And then I realized that being good at something doesn't mean necessarily that you enjoy it so much. So I started to think, okay, maybe I need to explore the next steps for me. I need to find like a passion. So I enjoy tech, but not necessarily web development, for example. So I plan to continue studying and going abroad. This was the time that the war started, of course. So I started to learn German, and it was like the good choice to think about, because studying here has a high quality, and also it's not very costly. So it was affordable to think about Germany. I reached B1 level, which I regret to say this was my limit in German language. So after 7 years now in Germany, I'm still at B1 level. And yeah, in 2013, I made the decision to move out, and I moved to Germany. I went to the smallest state of Germany called Saarland, started their master program in computer science. And from day one, I was hit by the fact that it is a problem that we have less women in tech. It was usually around 5 other women that appeared in my classes. And honestly, I was clueless about this topic because I didn't face it before. And I was actually busy adapting to the new culture anyway. So I didn't think about it too much. I realized that it's really important thing to work on later on. So yeah, I was doing my master in that time, and it was actually the beginning of the deep learning hype. And I happened to have some few courses in AI, and I started to fall in love in this topic, especially in computer vision. And I have to say that this was a kind of tough love that I experienced. It required a lot of hard work because I was changing focus from where I came from in my education. I needed a lot of hours to spend on understanding the theory and grasping the concepts. But the outcome was actually very rewarding. And yeah, the main driver that kept me going is that I was curious how we can apply this intelligence to applications in real life. So yeah, I knew that this was my passion now, and I want to continue pursuing a career in data science. And one of the things that I could leverage in the university was that there were many options to work as a research assistant. And I started working in DFKI. This is the German Artificial Intelligence Center. The project I was working on was called Effect. It was, my part was focused on cycling routes, so it was to design smart cities. My part was only for cycling, so routes recommendation for bicycles. We did some experiments, collected data, and built a live tracking system in Java and OpenStreetMaps. It included a lot of processing of raw data and analyzing the data, do some map matching algorithms. It was a very interesting topic. And yeah, after a year or so working with DFKI, I wanted to find a master thesis, and I found a topic that was a perfect mixture for me. It was in an intersection between machine learning, computer vision, and human-computer interaction. That was from the Max Planck Institute. And here I want to give some credit to my supervisor. She was a doctor at the time, Zainab Akata, and now she's a professor at Tübingen University. She was a great inspirational source for me, and a real example to look up at. So I want to really highlight that having supporter, especially women supporter, helps a lot. And yeah, she was my mentor, encouraged me and supported me in every step. Even afterwards, the master, we still write to each other. She still gives me advices from time to time. The main idea of the project, I'm not going to go too much into details, but it was to exploit the human gaze information. So when we look at the screen, we record the eye behavior, and we used it in a special learning task called zero-shot learning. It's a regime of learning where you have no samples of some test categories during the training of the algorithm. It kind of resembles the human ability when we use our previous knowledge to learn a new concept. So if I tell you the zebra looks like a horse, but with black and white stripes, you can imagine already how a zebra look like, even if you haven't seen anyone and any zebra. And yeah, the zero-shot learning framework, it kind of resembles this. We have published this work, and I presented it as a spotlight in a main conference called the CVPR. It's a really well-known conference for computer vision and machine learning. And yeah, as you can see here in the photo, I had the chance also to attend, especially in this photo I put, because it's a workshop that is very dear to my heart for women in computer vision. I got, of course, visibility, and I got to learn a lot about other women work in the field, and to network with many of them, and some of them are still friends with me till this day. After finishing my master's, I found myself at a crossroads. So you can see, like, doing some research work is quite interesting, and I was interested in continuing the research, going to PhD, or the other choice would be to start the practical life and go to applied experience in the industry. What made the choice easier actually is that I found a tempting opportunity for computer vision engineer here in Berlin, a startup. And yeah, living in Saarland, in Saarbrücken, small city, for 2 years, Berlin sounded very interesting, and I wanted to experience the startup's culture. So I decided to move here, and I joined R&D team and company called IM. The team was working on a lot of deep learning solutions, all focused on computer vision. And the tasks included, for example, classification, visual aesthetic evaluation of images. It was a photography marketplace, the company. My part, what I was working on is to tackle a challenging problem to extend the automatic image classification capabilities for new classes or concepts. And these new concepts, they only have a few examples. So, of course, they had a big classification model before I joined that covered more than 5,000 concepts. But training this model was very costly. It took some weeks and a lot of resources, and it also required a lot of samples. So my part was to use transfer learning and online learning with humans in the loop, and with text models that gives a textual representation of concepts, and have this small sample learning. So after almost a year and a half with IM, they decided to spin off the R&D team. And this is where I also decided to stop working there, because it was a tricky path to go to, in my opinion. And I was very proud of my experience there, because they continued working on my project and the new startup. In between jobs, because I was on the job hunt, I started to teach data science courses at a well-known bootcamp here in Berlin called DSR. The teaching experience was really amazing, I have to say, and very recommended to do so, because it helped me personally to grow confidence, and to being challenged constantly from people outside of the field. So the course was directed to people who are transitioning to career in data science, and it was very nice experience to get their point of view. Yeah, so there I was in beginning 2018. I was looking for a new job, and I was torn between the cool startup culture idea and the job stability, basically, that is offered by bigger companies. And yeah, I knew about Zalando because they are active usually in meetups in Berlin. And but I wasn't so sure if I want to join a big corporate. When I started to apply, they had this team that I'm at till now. It's a multidisciplinary team, and it was fairly young 3 years ago. They are focused only on size and fit of fashion. So it felt like a small startup inside this big corporate. And I decided to join, of course, and I started to work there. Let me change the slide, sorry. yeah, see, this is what happens when you don't prepare slides long enough. Yeah, so yeah, about my job in Zalando. I worked on computer vision, again, solution to use article images, so fashion item images. In this week supervised learning scenario where we have teacher and the student framework learning from each other. And yeah, the aim is to infer the size and fit behavior of article given only the visual appearance of it. So this work was my main project that I started with, and again, we could publish this work 2 years after in the same conference, CVPR. What you see here in the photo is the moment I got the Best Runner-Up award for this paper. I was very proud, and yeah, unfortunately, it was the last travel I could do before COVID. This was in Long Beach in US. Yeah, and after having this successful publication, we could roll out this solution to production early last year. That was a really big milestone because this solution offers like support offering size advice for millions of customers, and it actually helps increasing the revenue by reducing returns. After rolling this out, I got promoted to senior applied scientist. And on the side of my role as applied scientist in the company, I'm organizing community activities. So one is the data science community inside Zalando. We try to bring together teams working on data science, empower them, encourage the exchange between them. And yeah, we also invite speakers from outside of the company to give talks, and we organize internal conferences. So this is one thing that I really enjoy doing. And the other thing that I enjoy doing, and it's really a big part of my focus, is the Zalando Women in Tech. So we have an employee resource group that is focused on helping women switching career inside the company, making sure that women excel in their career, fair interviews. We look at all the aspects. We try to support women in tech in general. Yeah, we actually organize workshops and webinars. So if you're interested to give a talk, just feel free to ping me. You have my Twitter handle. I would invite you. Yeah, for my personal growth plan, I'm currently practicing mentoring inside the company. It's part of my development to go into leadership track. And yeah, outside of Zalando, Ruba already mentioned, I'm co-organizing the Women in CV workshop that I mentioned before in this talk. It's really a dear place to my heart because there I enjoyed the space when I was just starting my career. And yeah, it happens yearly. We try to raise visibility of women and connect women in this field. I'm learning a lot from this and expanding my network and meeting awesome women in the computer vision field. And I'm happy also to be here for the first time to give a talk at Women Techmakers. So really thank you for the invite. And yeah, that's it, I think, for my journey.
Yeah, thanks a lot. Thank you, Nour, for your talk. It was really inspiring. I'm happy to meet someone from studied in the same university. It was great. Also, the being in the breaking rooms. It's really great. Thank you very much for your talk.
Thanks.
And now I give over to our next, to Anna, actually, to introduce our next speaker.